so damn nerdy. I'll take you to the comic shop, I'll show you all the bills I drop. When I grab my Polaris box, Wednesdays when the comics drop. Whoa.
I'll take you to the comic shop, where variants are what I thought.
Hey guys, we are here talking about one of the biggest questions that comes up going to a convention, which is what type of backpack or backpack at all. And so I'm going to give you one side of the story and give you kind of the way that I handle it and my interpretation of the best way to handle a convention, and it definitely is with a backpack, and at that it's a backpack that's fairly on the large side. So I know some people like to keep it really thin and advocate no backpack at all, but for me and for the people I go with, we're really trying to keep on the go, and there's a lot of stuff we're stocking up in there, and so it's kind of our little mini home as we go through. So yeah, it's tough sometimes to get through those intersections, especially when we're talking about something like San Diego Comic-Con where it is so crowded and packed. That being said, it's never prohibited me from getting any of the stuff I need to get or getting into any of the places I want to get. So I just have to be a little bit more mindful about moving with the extra thickness. So that being said, I actually just picked up this bag in the last couple months here as a new one. The bag I had before was actually a replacement that I bought at San Diego Comic-Con because the one, it was one of those Wednesday night preview night things. The strap finally broke after like 5 years or something like that, and I replaced it with a Target bag, and that lasted for 4 or 5 years. And so now I'm on to this. This is a quick silver bag. What I really look for in a backpack is that it has multiple compartments because each of them serves a different purpose. And also when I just have it on my back, I can ask my wife to grab something out so I don't have to take it off and reset and everything like that. And so it really for me is a convenient tool, and really it's an essential tool. I don't really feel complete, as silly as that may sound, going to a convention no matter how big or small without the backpack. That being said, depending on the type of show, depends on what I fill it up with. So what I'm going to show you today is what is kind of my mega bag. This is the San Diego Comic-Con version. So this is what I take for those bigger shows, or even a Phoenix Comic-Con where I'm going to be there a few days. But definitely this will show you a lot of things that I'll be keeping in there to get through a day at San Diego Comic-Con. First off, in the exterior part here, well, one thing you can just notice all the buttons and things like that. I just like that. For one, it makes it, obviously it shows a little bit of character, but the other thing about it is just it's easier to spot, you know, is it doesn't fit in, and so my wife's on the other side of the floor, whatever, she can see me from a distance and see that. These are reinforced with safety pins, so if you have a situation where those are falling off, that helps. Not to say that they don't still fall off at times, because it can be pretty rugged out there on the floor sometimes. But anyway, with this, I'm able to fill, obviously I've got a couple pins in there. One thing I really like bringing to the shows and keeping in the backpack are just baggies, and so I can fill these up, especially at a place like San Diego with the buttons as we accumulate those, or stickers, and I can kind of compartmentalize things and drop them off in the room each day, and that way they're not getting all over the place. Smaller bags like this work for Lego minifigures, or you know, those little Doctor Who Build-A-Block ones or things like that. But in the end, this is just kind of a nice tool in there. So besides just things like tissues and you know, Tylenol and some of those types of basic things, this part of the bag up here I use primarily for my business cards. If I'm not keeping them in my shorts or whatever, they're easy to grab right there. A mini tripod to use for the camera, headphones, and even a little splitter for our headphones, so my wife and I can, you know, split the iPod if we want, the iPhone, to be able to listen to a podcast or music, something to do while we're waiting in line. On the sides, each side has an area for drinks and other items there, so that allows me to carry 2 waters there, and then I'll carry things like my lanyards, Sharpies, if I'm not already wearing those. It's an easy spot to have those. On the other side, my antibacterial, which is a must at Comic-Con or just about any convention. You're going to be shaking hands and you're going to be touching comics and things, and you know, there's been a reason that in 10, I guess this will be the 10th, no, it's the 8th year, I guess, 9th year, I don't know, of San Diego. Been going a long time and never gotten sick yet, never gotten sick at any conventions. Not that it's not going to happen someday, it's bound to, but one thing I swear by is using antibacterial fairly religiously throughout the event. Then as we get to the main parts of the bag, we open. In here, I always keep a couple sodas, a couple bags of chips, a couple breakfast bars. The question comes up, I've seen the question on Twitter and things like that, like breakfast spots, and like something like San Diego, we're not really stopping for breakfast. We're eating a bar in line or things like that. We definitely stop for a decent lunch and decent dinner, but even with that, a way we save money at the conventions is having our chips and our drinks with us. We're just buying a sandwich or a pizza or a burger to split. They really kill you with the price when it comes to the chips and the drinks, and so if you're able to, even if you buy a couple drinks during the show, it's still not the same as having to go buy a $4 water every time you need one, or a $3 or $4 soda, so it's nice to have those. Another key item that I always keep in the bag is the Walking Dead bag or Blood Factory bag. These are bags from San Diego Comic-Con, and these are perfect size for carrying along comics, and so as you're picking up those free comics, they fit right in there. And just really anything. It's just a nice bag. They're fairly sturdy for freebies. There's really nothing more valuable to me in terms of the free swag at San Diego Comic-Con than these types of bags. I mean, we go after these and the Blood Factory bags pretty strongly because we use them throughout the year for all the shows. And then in the secondary part of the bag, I've got just a little bit of hard cardboard. This helps to keep those just little mini things. Again, it could be for comics, it could be for autographs, some of those things, but I also in here have an autograph folder, and so in there, as soon as we get a sketch or something like that, if it'll fit in this size of a folder, we put it in there. So it just gives a little bit more sturdiness to keep things safe, and because the last thing you want to do is get that cool autograph, that cool little mini sketch or something like that, and then have it get all bent up on the way. And if you've been to San Diego Comic-Con before, it can be pretty rugged out there. I'm much more worried about those fragile things, those pieces of paper that you don't want to get crinkled and things like that, than I am actually about the thickness of the backpack. That, again, I don't really have any problems with it. Maybe other people have problems with it and bounce into my bag, I don't know, but I don't feel it too often, and that works well for me. So it does end up being a little bit heavier with the sodas and the waters in there, and so that's kind of something that you have to weigh as you're looking at. When we're talking about San Diego, and we're going to be doing an on-site prep video like we did for WonderCon in the next week, and we'll talk about where we park and kind of how we utilize that. But for us, it's really important to just have this for those mini stops. We'll keep extra sodas and waters in the convention parking area in our car, and we'll refill throughout the day. But we usually start the morning and have 2 sodas in there, 2 waters, 2 bags of chips, 2 bars. And then for my wife and I, that gets us through well into the evening. And, we pick up a sandwich here or there, things like that. But besides that, we're in pretty good shape in terms of having that. And it just saves a ton of money, to be honest. So I really swear by the backpack and all of the contents. Some other side things. Now, we'll talk more about this again when we go to San Diego and film there, but I just keep several of the bags in the car just to kind of show how well they hold comics. One of the things I'll also bring is a bunch of bags and boards already bagged up and taped. So if I'm going through comic bins, especially something like when I go to Long Beach Comic Expo next week, they're going to have a lot of bins, a lot of comics that aren't already bagged and boarded and things like that. So that's kind of a nice way just to have them, put them together, and it's real easy and simple and something. I'm not going to carry those all around the show, though. Those are things I usually leave in the car. But, if it's a show that's going to be real heavy on that, I might throw it in the backpack as well. And again, it can carry that. And then obviously it's essential to have some sort of poster tube, and this is not something you want to go to a convention and have to buy. The only show I actually bring this into is San Diego Comic-Con. So besides that, it's always in the car, and I'll just bring as I get a poster, because usually a Phoenix or a WonderCon or those, it's not too hard to just walk over, throw it in the poster tube, and leave it in the car or the room or something like that. But San Diego, I carry this all over because it comes up that much. So, all right, so that gives you a little bit of an idea on my philosophy on backpacks. Again, just really critical to me. I swear by them. I know it's a little bit thicker, it's a little bit heavier, things like that. I'm on the convention exhibit hall floor from open to close every day, no matter what the show is. It's very rare that I go to panels and things like that, but for the most part, we're out there on the floor. So the weight obviously is a consideration, and there's some mornings where maybe I'm just not feeling as much and I might take out an extra soda or 2, or maybe if I'm feeling great, throw an extra soda or water in there. Really, the sodas and the waters are the biggest part of the weight, but they're also the biggest part of the money saving. So a lot of things come down to, again, opportunity costs and things like that. Do you want to leave the convention? Do you want to leave the floor to run back to your hotel room to get waters? Do you want to run back to the car? Do you want to pay the $4 or $5 for it? You know, these are all questions that only you can answer based on your financial situation and what you want to get out of the convention. For me, I just would much rather any money that I have to spend at the convention to go towards the vendors, the comics, the toys, the exclusives. I'm not really interested in spending a lot of money on the food or drink unless we're going to go out to a nice restaurant, and we'll talk again when we do our on-site prep for San Diego. There's some restaurants I swear by, and we definitely go there and buy the hamburger or the steak or whatever, so it's not like we're always eating out of our bag. But that being said, it is a nice cost savings for those little things, and so it's something to consider. So once again, this is a Quicksilver bag, but I had a Target bag that was like, you know, $20 that was just as good. But this time I thought, well, we go to so many shows now, let's go ahead and just spring a little bit more. So it was like $40. I actually bought it at Knott's Berry Farm at their gift shop. It was like $40. Really sturdy. Taken it to probably about 5 or 6 shows so far, and it's not showing anywhere. It looks still brand new. So great bag. And again, I just swear by multiple compartment backpack. So all right, we'll see you next time in a line somewhere.
Keep reading till the series stops.
I'll take you to the comic shop. I'll show you all the bills I drop. When I grab my pull-list box. Wednesdays when the comics drop.
I'll take you to the comic shop, where things are what I thought. I'll keep spending all I got. Keep reading till the series stops.
I see you, girl, with that little purple dress on. I see you at the next Comic-Con. With your glasses on. Yeah, the glasses on.